Hey chums, welcome to our Xbox games reveal, first party games reveal. With me is my ever faithful sidekick, Mr. Roars.
Wait, what?
Hey,
I'm sidekick?
come on, man. Let's face it. I'm the one with all the glitz and glamour, and you're just a guy who's there to hold my beer.
Hold your beer. As if you'd ever let anyone hold your beer. You'd be like, don't touch my fucking beer, man.
Yeah. So yeah, it's Xbox did their first party games reveal 2 days ago. I think it was on Thursday. We're recording this on the Saturday. Yeah. So yeah, they did one a couple of months ago where it was third party.
Mm-hmm.
People didn't like that.
People didn't like it at all.
And some people didn't like this, but we're not here to talk about their opinions. This is our opinions, our reactions, because we both what was obviously watching it at the same time. We were WhatsApping back and forth, and yeah, we did one for the PS5, so we thought we have to do one for the Xbox. And kicking it off was gameplay reveal of Halo Infinite. Mr. Roars, we all know you're a massive Halo fan. You're making us do this, playing through every mainline Halo game.
It seemed like a good idea at the time. It's just taken us about a year so far.
It's taken us a lot longer than we thought. We even had to drop ODST, I think, from our list.
Yeah, that'll get done if we have the time, but
yeah,
the main
anyway,
series is the main priority at the moment.
Halo Infinite. First gameplay reveal. It was about 5 minutes. What did you think?
Yeah, about 5-6 minutes, wasn't it?
5-6 minutes. Yeah.
Well, when it first started up, and you had sort of like the chief and the pilot in the Pelican cockpit, and then it cuts to sort of like the view out of the front of the Pelican, and you see like the pillars and the AA cannons and stuff. My first thought, honestly, was that looks a bit rough. But then when it cut to the cutscene in the Pelican, I was like, okay, yeah, it looks better now. And then when the bay door opened and Chief stepped out, I was like, that looks really good.
Yeah.
And then he just like ran out, shot a few grunts. The assault rifle sounded amazing. It sounded so meaty. It reminded me more of like how the Reach assault rifle sounded in the original release of that. It was really meaty sounding. I used to say that the Reach assault rifle sounded like an angry dog spitting wasps at people, and I kind of get that feeling again. But yeah, I thought it looked pretty good. It looked they've mentioned before that their idea with it is like a spiritual reboot, and they want people to feel the way they did when they first like stepped out of the Bumblebee on the level 2 of the first Halo, and then saw the Halo stretching all the way overhead. And I think they've kind of nailed that, really. It looks like what you might think a modern Halo CE would look like. It's very colourful. A lot of 343 have got a lot of shit for their sort of over-engineered designs in 4 and 5. Like, they kind of, everything's really elaborate, and people were very upset about a lot of that, especially like their Forerunner designs. So they seem to have walked that back a lot now. And then, like, the first time you see an Elite, I was like, oh my god, he looks like a Halo 2 Elite. So it looks classic Halo. So Halo. I was like, yes, please, I'll have that.
It is like the first the first look we got of Halo Infinite. It was of the artwork. That was a homage to the first game. Did you see that?
Yeah.
The artwork, yeah, that was a homage. But yeah, this does look like a sort of a love letter to the first game. Yeah, but apparently it's meant to be part of its open world. Yeah. And you sort of see that when the person who was controlling it. Oh yeah. Sorry, yeah. There's a map on it with different objectives.
Yeah, he jumps into a map, and I was like, oh my god.
Yeah, so there's different objectives. There'll probably be tons of secrets and stuff that you can find, and a bit like I think I'm getting a bit of vibes from Gears 5. That sort of, they had that sort of open world area. A lot of people complained, as they do, that it was kind of empty.
Yeah.
But I think this one, I think they're going to throw everything in there. a lot of secrets, a lot of Easter eggs. Yeah.
So yeah, like people have been sort of speculating about what the open world means for it, and because most of what people are used to when you get an open world game is like levels XP, skill trees, and all that stuff. People are, oh, it's going to have all that. And I think it's going to be more like Gears 5, where you have an open world and you have like a few bits of equipment, like in Gears 5, where you have Jack and he has like 4 abilities, and then you can sort of improve those abilities by finding stuff in the world. So I think it's going to be more like that, like maybe like the grapple hook, because there's a grapple hook now.
Yeah,
Maybe that's a thing you find in the world, and you can strap that onto your armor. I don't think there's going to be like XP and levels and skill trees and stuff.
I really wanted them to demonstrate more of the grapple hook. I know he grappled to get to a higher reach, and he grappled a few items towards him and enemies. But I wanted him to grapple onto an enemy ship. When I saw one flying, I was like, come on, use the grapple so you can actually grapple onto the ship and take the ship out in air.
That would be really interesting if you could do that.
He might be able to do that. I don't know, but it would have been good to see him that you can actually. It's an option to do it if it's close enough. Because some of them were flying quite low overhead, and I was thinking, use the grapple. Go on, use the grapple. Jump onto the ship, take the ship out, and then maybe use their guns against them.
But it'd be interesting to see if you could actually do that.
You might be able to do that. Might not.
Because it does look like you can grapple quite a lot of stuff. Like, like the games have always had those like fusion coils or like Covenant red barrels, basically, that you can shoot and explode to do damage. And now in this one, you can grapple them towards you and grab them and then throw them, which you'd never been able to do in a Halo game before. So you can grapple objects. They've confirmed you can grapple weapons. So if there's like a weapon in the mid distance and you've run out of ammo on your main weapon, you can grapple another weapon towards you and switch it up. You can grapple on, according to some interviews, you can grapple on pretty much anything in the environment. So you can, someone said like, where can you go in this? And they said, oh, we don't want to say you can go everywhere because we haven't tried it, but we can't think of anything like in the playable demo. We can't think of anywhere you can't get to with the grappling hook. So it seems like it's going to be quite freeform with it. But yeah, if you grapple to scenery, you get pulled towards the scenery. If you grapple towards enemies, you get pulled towards the enemies. If you grapple items, they come to you. So it does seem like they've done quite a lot of iteration on it, and I think it will really mix things up.
Yeah.
But I should say, just to sort of preface all this, the whole time the demo was playing, I pretty much had goosebumps, and I was sitting there going, this looks so good. And then I went online and forums were on fire with how bad it is.
Yeah. We'll get onto that in a minute because we can spend a lot of time on people's negative opinions. I want to ask the enemies in the game, they are enemies that you encounter in Halo Wars 2, is that correct?
The Banished.
The Banished, and Chiefy mentions that.
Yeah.
So they're new antagonists. So did we talk about the Banished before? I mean, I think we might have talked a bit about it in one of our Halo videos.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we talked about it in a Halo video, but like a Covenant sort of splinter cell. They're not really Covenant. They kind of splintered off from the Covenant and were kind of fighting against the Covenant at the same time as humanity was. So they're not really. They're Covenant races, but they're not like Covenant aligned.
So they're the main antagonists. So what are we having, a 4-way war? Are we not 4-way, 3-way against the Banished, the Covenant remnants?
Well, I think the Covenant remnant is basically done now because that was part of the storyline of 5, where you go to San Helios and you basically end the Covenant civil war. So I think I think this will be kind of the Covenant-esque faction, the Banished, and then there's the Prometheans are bound to show up somewhere because that's kind of the main story thread hanging over from 4 and 5, the created. But yeah, there's the speech at the end of the trailer, and Escarum he's apparently called, who's like one of Atriox's generals, and he mentions the Harbinger. He says like the Banished and the Harbinger are working together. So whoever the Harbinger is going to be part of it. So
any speculations? Any ideas of who the Harbinger might be? It's not going to be the one from. It's not going to be the one from Halo 3, Halo Mass Effect.
Assuming
like
control.
Yeah, Chief's just like, oh god, damn it.
I thought Commander Shepard took this guy out. And people are suggesting it's like the Didact making a return somehow, but I don't know. We just have to wait and see. It's probably going to be some kind of like created Cortana aligned character. So it kind of then suggests that the Banished and the Created are working together somehow. But I mean, they've said that newcomers can come into this without any knowledge and still have a good time, but that people that have followed the story through will find a lot to sort of let them know what's been going on in the few years, because I think it's 2 years after Halo 5.
And from the looks of it, the humanity is on the ropes again. Again. Yes. Oh, there was a brief little cutscene in the montage near the end where Chief's looking at a hollow
and it
sort
shows
of
like
projection
wiped
out, and you could just imagine Chief just going, "Oh, for God's sake,
not again!"
Oh, gee, look, I've got to do this all on my own again." What was the ship in the later Halo games? The main one, that the Infinity, that can't have been taken out. That's top of the range. That's reverse engineered bloody Forerunner tech, isn't it?
A lot of it is, yeah.
Yeah. So and that's full of Spartans. I know they're not the high end Spartans, but they're still
they're not the good ones, but they're all right ones.
Yeah. So they still must be around somewhere, forming a resistance, or not like trying to form a counter attack, something. They must be still about. I can't see them being taken out.
Also brings the question of like, where is Fireteam Osiris? Where is like Commander Palmer? Where's Lasky? Where's Halsey? Where's the Arbiter? And
they could all be on the ship. They could all be on the ship.
They could all be on the
that ship's big enough to you know what I mean, to like all of them to live in.
Country.
Yeah. I mean, that's why I think they could be on that ship, just the last remnants of maybe humanity or of our forces. But that ship is just a massive warship. That on its own could do some serious damage. But I wanted to mention that it seems to be like a replacement for Cortana in that sort of sassy pilot. He's going to be in your head. He's going to be giving you directions. I can tell he's going to be there in the ship, giving you directions and information.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's going
to be the new companion character.
Yeah, and from the montage, he does seem to be play a more of a predominant role, and he does seem to pop up now and again.
Yeah.
And he complains a lot. So I see he's complaining.
I mean, I suppose you would if you've been drifting in space for months, and then you found the chief, and you'd be like, "Oh, thank fuck! Maybe now I've got a chance of actually making it out of here." And the chief's like, "No, we're going to war, mate. There's 2 of us. I'm a pilot."
And he keeps saying, "We can go home." So are they lost somewhere in deep space?
Well, I mean, they were in orbit around a halo, weren't they?
Okay.
So I guess it seems to be the Banished control that halo, and he was kind of in a low power state in his Pelican, so as not to attract any attention, but get the feeling like if he'd fired up his engines and they would have known he was there and blown him to smithereens. So he was probably biding his time to find some other way out, and then found Chief and was like, "Yes, now we've got a chance." And Chief's like, "We're going on to the Halo, mate." So he's like, "Thanks,
great." But yeah, so that was all the positives and what we thought. Me personally, I really like the trailer. I wasn't like you when I was getting goosebumps, because I know you're a massive Halo fan, and I'm pretty big as well. I mean, I've got all the games, and I've got a statue of the old Chiefy and a picture of Chiefy up on my wall. And I love Halo Reach, but there was some negatives in, like, people were talking about the graphic quality of the game. It was some people complained that didn't look like next gen. That some of it looked quite blocky, and I did notice, like, when I think it was Chief, when he was panning the horizon, there was a couple of pop-ins.
Yeah, there are. Like one of them, like, you can see one when he goes up the lift and sort of like looks out. and you can see like a piece of mist popping in and out, and also when he gets into the warthog as he's driving along, you can see like grass and rocks either popping up or like changing level of detail settings and stuff. So there is, like I said, I watched it and I was like, this is amazing, and I was like, I can't wait to go online and see what other people think about it. I went online, people were like, it's shit, but there are, I think it looks good. I think a lot of the problems are the lighting and the fact they have gone for a more sort of simplified classic art style, which makes a lot of the geometry look sort of
I mean,
not blocky, but less sort of elaborate.
Because the Halo 4 and 5 had really good detailed environments. I remember watching the trailers for, I think it was Halo 4, when Chief was going through the jungle, and trying to get to Infinity, and I was like, "Fuck me, this looks amazing."
Halo 4 looked incredible. That was one of the best
It
looking
looked
games of last gen.
amazing, and I was like, "Wow, this is really." Yeah, sorry, Cam.
But yeah, I think part of it is that the art style is a lot more simplified to look more like classic Halo, and then the lighting, because it's like dynamic lighting. There's not a lot of sort of shadowing and shading and stuff going on, which makes it look really flat. Like Digital Foundry did a 20-minute video on it yesterday or the day before, I think, kind of explaining like why it looks kind of flat, and I think those are the main points really. But then obviously there are little polish things like if you go back and watch the 4K 60 one, which is what I watched afterwards, and I was like, yeah, I can see there are some issues, but I still think it looks good. But if you watch that 4K 60 one, you can see like as he's driving the warthog, tufts of grass like popping up in front of him and stuff like that. I think all of that stuff's polished stuff, and it is still 4 months out from release, and the last few months of game development is when all the polish gets done, because like up until then, like you're building the game, you're iterating on the gameplay systems, you're running through it in like final alpha to make sure you can actually play the game from start to finish. You're doing all the cutscenes, getting all the lighting done and everything, and then the last sort of like 5-6 months, I think, is when just all the attention goes on like making it look good and run perfectly. So I think it will look better than that when it launches, because a lot of the things are kind of polished things, like the pop-in and level of detail stuff. I think that'll get fixed, especially for the Series X version. Might not for the last gen versions, because they just don't have the grunt maybe to do it. And I shudder to think how this is going to run on the OG Xbox One. But I mean, it won't be a problem for me because I'll be getting a Series X. But I think it will look a fair bit better than it does in that demo at launch. But I think generally it's still going to be the same game. It's going to be that. I think people's main issues, really, even if they don't quite fully understand it, is the art style and the lighting. But 343 have said that a ray tracing patch will be coming in the future. It won't be there at launch, but it'll be there for the future for the Series X, and that has the potential to dramatically change the way it looks. If they do like ray traced global illumination or something like that, it will look vastly better without having to go in and change any assets or anything. So I think it will look better. And also there's a rumor going around, but I don't know if this is true or not. Can't seem to find a source for it, that build is from January. So if that's true, by the time the game launches, that build will be nearly a year old. But yeah, again, that's rumor. No idea if it's true or not.
Okay, cool. So yeah, that was Halo Infinite. I really liked the trailer. You obviously really liked it, but there was more to this event than just Halo. I remember this was the meat and potatoes of the event. But there was more games. More games got announced rules. More. Let's talk about some of those.
Well, we got 4, I think, first-party announcements, but they were pretty much all kind of like CGI trailers, far out things, which is one reason a lot of people are annoyed, and I understand that. But for me, it was like a couple of them that were like big rumors, and I was like, well, I'm just glad to see they're actually real, and now they're announced, and now the next time we see them, we'll probably see the game. So I wasn't really upset about it, but yeah, the first one of those, I guess, that I want to talk about is Avowed, which is Obsidian's new game. and this has been rumored for a while that they wanted to make sort of what insiders have termed their Skyrim, Obsidian Skyrim, and people were talking about it being set in the Pillars of Eternity universe. So we found out they are making a big like first-person fantasy RPG, and we found out it's in the Pillars of Eternity universe. So yeah, I was like, yes.
Because Bethesda are taking so goddamn long with the next their next game.
Well, it's not that long. It's only been 9 years since Skyrim.
So
yeah, Obsidian like, fuck it, we'll do it.
Yeah, we'll do it. And there wasn't much. There was no gameplay with it. It was just
like a scene-setting announcement trailer, I guess.
But that's enough to get me interested. I've always liked Obsidian, and I always thought that they made good games. It's just they never had the funding to really finish and polish their games. I mean, like the Knights of the Old Republic 2 and the what was the one with the spy one?
Alpha Protocol.
Alpha Protocol. I gave that about 3 goes trying to play it, and I was like, "There's some good ideas there." It just
didn't come together.
Didn't come together, and either for time or financial constraints.
Yeah, I think Sega kind of messed them around on that. They screwed around with their budget. They tried to interfere with like the design of the game and stuff, and then gave them a deadline that they had to rush to meet. And then when they did, but knowing the game was a bit of a mess, then Sega decided to push it back to release it at a different time of the year, but then didn't allow Obsidian to continue working on it. So they just had to sit on their game for months, knowing there was a lot more they could do, but they weren't allowed to. So I blame Sega for that mostly. And then like you say, like KOTOR 2 having to cut loads of content. Again, that was developed in what, like under 18 months?
Under a year. Yeah, it was under it was just that came out in 2000, sometime in 2004, like maybe summertime 2004. Probably like 18 months at most.
Yeah, at
max.
From
the release of from the first game. So that was crazy. Yeah, now a lot of content got cut from that.
So yeah, they have a bit of a reputation for making buggy, unfinished games, but generally, I think it's not unearned, but it's not really entirely on them because they're always at the whims of publishers and budgets and stuff.
What was Outer Worlds like? I haven't played that, but I heard that's got really good reviews, isn't it?
I haven't finished it. I think I did about 15 hours into it. I don't remember seeing any bugs, and the writing was pretty good. The companions were good, especially Parvati. So I enjoyed what I played of it, but I need to get back to it. And saying on that note, they also announced DLC for that at this showcase as well.
Yeah, I mean Obsidian have done Fallout, their version of Fallout with Outer Worlds, and now they're going to do their version of Elder Scrolls. Just to show Bethesda how, like,
But I sent you a WhatsApp last week, I think, showing you I bought a copy of Pillars of Eternity 2. And I bought that, and I started playing Pillars of Eternity 1 as well in the last couple of weeks, because all the rumours were like, yeah, they're making a Skyrim game and it's set in Pillars of Eternity setting. So I was like, all right, let me play these games, because I bought Pillars 1 like a few years ago, and I played about 5-6 hours of it and then dropped it. And then I started it again on PC, I don't know, like a few months ago, and I got like an hour in, and I was like, I've already played the opening hours. But I thought, like, right, if they're going to make like a big Skyrim type game, I know I'm going to get that. I really want to get into the world, so I restarted the first Pillars of Eternity for the third time a couple of weeks back, and about 12 hours into it now. I'm really enjoying it, and I thought I'll buy a copy of the second game because that's on sale. So I really want to sort of get deep into that world before this comes out. I mean, it's probably going to be like 2 years from now anyway when it comes out, but I just like the idea of an Obsidian-led big Skyrim-like game.
Yeah, sorry because we got so much to get through. Let's let's talk about other games as well, because otherwise this could be a 2-hour video. So another game that's already been announced and we know it's in development was Hellblade 2.
Yeah.
Not much was revealed, just the location and where it's going to be, where the next game's going to take place.
Yeah, which someone on Reddit did some crazy detective work a couple of months ago and found out it's set in Iceland, and had all these pictures of like, this part of the trailer is this place in Iceland, and I was like, okay, yeah, wow. And then they showed that like if you go on their YouTube, they've got like the first development diary up, and it shows all the places in the trailer, and they're the exact places in Iceland that this guy on Reddit had like pointed to. So yeah, kudos to that guy.
So more Norse adventures.
Yeah.
So
The game is basically, I think what they've said, the whole
just
game is set in Iceland, and it's like Senua's journey across Iceland.
so I'm pretty sure that time in Iceland was that colonized by the Scandinavians, the Norse people.
I'm pretty sure there was a Danish colony on Iceland at that
Colony.
time. I think
Because
so.
who were the indigenous people? Were they, or was that just a barren? I don't know about. Because
Yeah,
I'm
I don't
pretty.
know enough about
Yeah,
Iceland in the 9th century, to be
yeah,
honest. But I think there
yeah.
was like a Viking colony there. But
Because
yeah, no new gameplay, which is what everyone was like. Hellblade 2 is going to be there. Surely they're going to show gameplay because they announced it like December last year. But we didn't get anything new for it other than just to say there's a dev diary on our YouTube channel, which is I'm happy with that because the dev diaries for the first Hellblade are amazing. If you haven't watched those, you should go and watch them. So I'm happy they're doing them for this, but I did want to see more from Hellblade 2.
Yeah, I mean, poor Asura. She's like this poor Celtic woman that's having to go through all this Norse bollocks. She's like, oh god.
These aren't even my beliefs, but I've got to go and fight through it all.
Yeah, I mean, like, I wonder what is the main story is about. You know, like the last one was about mental health, and I don't know. Maybe she's having PTSD. PTSD. Yeah,
possibly. It'd be interesting to find out because I loved the first Hellblade.
Okay, and another game that they showed a bit more of was Tell Me Why.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this.
A lot of people thought that it's going to be part of the Life is Strange universe.
I think Don't have said that it isn't, but it's just a similar kind of. It's a similar kind of game.
It looks better.
Yeah,
the graphics are.
Well, I mean, you'd hope it looks better than Life is Strange because that's a few years old now. But yeah, we got a date for it as well, August 27th for part 1.
Yeah, it's coming out next month.
Yeah, it's
so
literally a month from now.
Maybe we'll do a video of it. Maybe not. I mean,
who
knows?
We'll probably do something with it because I'm really looking forward to it. I think it's going to be good. I like Don't Nod stuff.
Yeah, we probably won't do a full let's play. Maybe a quick look. I don't know. Maybe we'll do a full let's play. I don't know, Roars. We'll see. Jesus, I can't tell the future. But yeah, another game that got announced is a State of Decay 3.
Kind of a weird one. This.
That was strange, wasn't it?
Yeah.
When I first saw it, I thought, is this going to be a battle royale survival game? Just like what was that one that they showed years ago? Was it the Darwin Project that no one talks about anymore?
Oh yeah, that.
Remember that? Remember that one? That survival battle royale game that no one talks about. And I don't even know when it got released. I know it got some sort of really low key release, but no, that was another CGI trailer.
Yeah.
People thought maybe this is like their version of The Last of Us. Maybe this is something.
So it's weird because I had a couple of WhatsApp chats going on while this was going on. I was talking to you and I was talking to my Destiny group. And
how dare you? How dare you? This was Game with Chums work. God damn it!
She sat down at the fire and started fletching the arrow, I posted in the Destiny group. I was like, "Is this State of Decay?" And then it carried on a bit. I was like, "Nah, can't be." And it came up on the screen, State of Decay 3. I was like, "Oh, okay." And I'm not really sure how I twigged that, but there we go. But yeah, I think that was there because they were like, "Oh, we need another announcement," but it's not because they have In Exile are meant to be working on a big budget AAA RPG, but it's probably in pre-production at the moment.
Yeah, we should say that not all the studios. Yeah, so there's quite a few that have still got an announce.
Yeah, and then Compulsion apparently in pre-production on their new game, and then there's the Initiative, the new studio that was built in mid 2018, and there was a lot of rumors that they were making Perfect Dark, but obviously their game isn't ready to be shown yet because they're still building the studio. Basically, I think there's less than 100 people in the studio at the moment. The Coalition have only just released Gears 5, sort of 9-10 months ago. So I think
which was a very good game.
It was a very good game, incredible looking game as well.
Incredible looking game, which no one seems to give them credit for. But
yeah, I think they were like, all right, we need one more project in there, and this one's kind of like, even it's like they announced on Twitter afterwards that State of Decay 3 is just going into pre-production, so they have literally nothing. But I
do you
think they were like,
reckon?
we need, yeah. I mean, obviously they have, like, they know what State of Decay is. This is why I think this was announced, because there are rumours that the Coalition might be doing something else. So if that's true, they're not going to want to announce that when they don't have anything to show. We don't know what the Initiative's game is really. There are rumours that it's Perfect Dark, but obviously they don't want to announce that without having anything to show for it. Same with Compulsion, same with In Exile. We don't know what any of those studios are doing. So to announce like a brand new IP maybe with a CGI trailer might not go down as well. Or they might want to hang on to that for a later event when they actually have something concrete to show. But then they know State of Decay 3 is getting made. Okay, they don't have anything to show. It kind of feels like a no-brainer to throw it in there if they feel like they needed another announcement, because people know what State of Decay is. So you're not going to be thrown out there and have people going, well, what is this?
It has its fans, that's for sure. Another game from Microsoft Studio, Rare, came out with Everwild.
Yeah.
What did you think of that?
New lengthier trailer for Everwild. I still don't know what it is, but I want to play it.
Yeah, that's the thing. The art style looks fantastic. I really like
beautiful.
that. It looks. It reminds me of Zelda Breath of the Wild sort of style, but
very
more
cell shady.
Very ethereal. Is that a word?
That is a word. It's a good word.
That is a word
as well.
Thank you. Yeah, but what is it about? Is it a multiplayer? Is it co-op? Is it single player?
Pretty much the only thing we know, because this, to be fair, this game was only announced at XO 19, so it's not like
that event we went to.
Yeah, we did. It's not like they've
we
been
had no beer.
no beer. It's not like they've been stringing people along for like 2-3 years. And what is this game? Which is, there were a lot of complaints about that with Sea of Thieves. This is only its second showing, sort of inside 9 months of its last showing, or 7-8 months. So we got a lengthier look at it, and it does look beautiful. And all we know about it at the moment is someone mentioned that it has some kind of god game elements.
Right.
So yeah, that's basically all we know. I wanted to know more about it, but it looks incredible, and it made me want to know more about it still.
Another game that's already been out, but it's getting a upgrade is Ori and the Will of the Wisp. It's getting an upgrade.
120 FPS update for the Series X.
And because I was watching it on on my Mac, I couldn't really tell the difference. I was like, oh, it just. Do you know what I mean? So I couldn't really see the difference on there, but yeah, that's another one that's getting an upgrade.
I mean, 120 FPS is nice, but my TV doesn't support it. So
yeah, exactly. So
I won't be able to take advantage of it.
You might have to invest in a new TV, and when the Xbox Series X comes out.
I mean, my TV will be fine. It's just like some games that have 120 FPS modes, I just won't be able to take advantage of it. I've got a 4K HDR TV. It's just it doesn't do 4K 120.
Another game, Double Fine's new Psychonauts 2 with the Jack Black doing some of the songs.
Some psychedelic acid trip prog rock.
They showed quite a lot of that to that. They showed quite a lot of that. So
yeah, it was a crazy trailer.
Did you play Psychonauts when it came out?
I played a couple of hours of it. I've been meaning to actually play it through and finish it. But I'll do that before Psychonauts 2 comes out, because I like the look of it.
I own both. I own both. I own the first game on Steam, and I have a physical copy of it, but I've never actually played it. Yeah,
I have it on Steam. That's where I played it. A couple of hours of it on PC. But I do need to get back to it. I actually also bought, because they released a VR game a couple of years back, which I think is set between 1 and 2, and it was on sale for like £4 in the recent Steam sale. So I was like, I'll grab that, and then eventually I'll play Psychonauts 1, then I can play that, and then 2 comes out. I'll be up to speed. So I plan to get up to speed on it. But it was funny, like when Jack Black, like it showed the Double Fine logo, and then it cut to like Tim Schafer and Jack Black in the studio, and people going, "Oh my god, Brutal Legend 2!"
No.
And I was like, "No, he's in Psychonauts 2." Like they've had a video up of that recording session on their YouTube channel for a while. I think maybe even since like last E3. So it's been well known that he's in Psychonauts 2, but people are like, "Oh my god, please, Brutal Legend."
Yep. Horror games, Ross. There's a horror game coming out.
The Medium.
The Medium.
Which was announced at that May event that everyone hated.
Everyone hates it. It's just a lot of hate for Xbox. Yeah, it showed a lot of just like everyone hated that event. Everyone hated anyway. Yeah, the Medium.
The Medium was the thing I liked the most from that May event because it looked very Silent Hill, and also like when the guitar came in, I was like, that sounds like Akira Yamaoka. And then the trailer went on like, well, we've got Akira Yamaoka working on it. I was like, fuck yeah. Because if you remember, we went to see Akira Yamaoka in Hackney.
We did. It was Hackney. It was in Hackney Wick.
Yeah.
We went down to this unassuming bar stroke of live music event, which it was underground, wasn't it? Yeah. It was a cool event. I liked it. There was loads of. There was a pyramid head walking around. There was some sexy nurses. One gave me a flashlight. I still have to this day.
Yeah.
I use it, little pocket one. I was like, oh, this will come in handy if I'm ever lost in Silent Hill.
But yeah, we should note it was like a live band playing with that Akira Yamaoka and a singer. It wasn't Mary Elizabeth McGlynn, unfortunately, but a live singer.
But let's talk about the game. Let's talk about the game, Rods. We're going off on too many tangents. What did you think of the game?
I'm really excited for it, and we got some gameplay finally. Which, well, I say finally, it was only announced like 2 months ago. We got some gameplay of it, and it's really it's strange because like the main character is like a spirit medium who can see like our world and the spirit world, and from the May trailer, my idea was like the world would change in real time, like how you'd get in Silent Hill, like the siren goes off, the screen would black out, and then it comes back on, and you're in the other world. I thought it was going to be like that, but like using the SSD to like switch worlds in real time. And I think there is some of that in there, but it seems like a lot of it is like split screen, and you see both worlds at the same time, and like you're moving the character in both worlds at the same time, which is very interesting. I don't think I've ever seen a game do that before.
Oh, first of its kind.
Yeah, apparently they have patented it as well.
Oh, they patented it. Oh, bollocks. That means no one else can do that. Oh, God. So it won't become like a thing, like most other types of games become
medium clone.
But
yeah, it looks really interesting, and I want to see more of it. And it's Bloober Team, but it looks like it's their biggest game yet. Like we've done some Layers of Fear videos, and I enjoyed those. Layers of Fear seemed pretty good. We did Blair Witch, and I didn't really get into Blair Witch, if I'm honest. We spent a lot of time just wandering around lost. And then we also did an observer video where I also got lost.
there's a lot of that.
I'm hoping that this is their best game, because Layers of Fear seemed really interesting and really like it had a lot of promise, but then the other two games Layers I've played didn't really grab me that much. But this one I really like the look of it.
Another game from Obsidian was Grounded.
Yeah,
which that's been announced ages ago, and that gameplay was shown.
Yeah, that was another XO19 announcement.
We actually played that when we went down to the event, didn't we?
We did, yeah. Had quite a lot of fun with it.
Yeah,
it's a shame it wasn't co-op, so we couldn't play in the same like instance. But obviously, you'll be able to do that in the full game.
Yeah, there was a single player element part. You can play it on your own if you want.
Yeah,
but I think it is meant to be played with friends and co-op to get the most enjoyment out of it.
Does seem to be the case. Yeah, it looks really nice, really nice looking game, and I had a lot of fun playing the demo of it then. And it's out in like a few days. On the 28th, I think it's out. It goes into preview, so I might do some videos of that maybe. But the trailer was quite funny. So if you're looking for the year's biggest game, play Cyberpunk.
Oh no. Um, but yeah, that looks fun. What else? We got a new game from one of your new favorite developers. Crossfire X was from Remedy, right?
I love Remedy. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the multiplayer portion, which well, I say the multiplayer portion, Crossfire is a multiplayer game. It's like CS. Like it's just
Mm.
like it's a huge in Asia free to play like military shooter. But now they're doing a campaign. They've got Remedy to do a campaign mode. So I do not care about the multiplayer side of this at all. But I really want to play the campaign because it's Remedy and I love Remedy's games. So
Remedy. Yeah.
so yeah, that looked impressive as well. The trailer for it.
Another game, Phantom. Fantasy Star Online too.
Yeah, that came out of nowhere
Yeah.
because they announced Fantasy Star 2, which had been kind of in limbo for like 8 years, I think. It had been
Mhm.
out in Japan like 8 years ago or something, and they just kept saying, "Yeah, it's coming west," and it never did. And then Microsoft announced, I think was it last E3, E3 2019, they announced it was
I,
coming,
I think so. Yeah.
and then it only came out in like Japan and North America, so we didn't get it here. And now they've announced another one before we even
Mm.
get that one. I think this one is like a new game. It's like a
Mm-hmm.
whole new
A
graphics engine,
whole
whole new
new
gameplay
game.
engine, a
Mm.
whole new story, whole new world, I think. And by the
Well,
sounds of it, they're going to be running them both concurrently, which is weird.
yeah.
And like your character, you can carry some elements of your character between them, but not you can't carry like your player level and abilities and stuff. But you can carry over like your appearance and some of your gear, and so it sounds very confusing, but it looked really nice,
Mm.
and it came out of nowhere.
Yeah, it came out of left field, didn't it? I was like, what the hell's this? Is this like Xenoblade or something? What the fuck?
It did look a bit Xenoblade Chronicles
Yeah.
X, but
What
hopefully that
else?
one comes out in Europe.
Yeah, hopefully. What else got announced? Stalker 2.
Yeah, I was like the whole time I
Yeah.
was like, what is this?
Yeah, I was got my curiosity up. What is this about?
Because the original Stalker is one of those games that I always. It's like one of those games you hear about and people rave about, but I never actually played.
Hmm.
And it was like I think it was like an open world game. It was like made by some of the people that went on to make the Metro games, like Metro 2033 and that.
I got a lot of that when I saw that that vibe. I was like, is this something to do with Metro? Is
Mm.
this another game or a spin-off or something?
Yeah, I was thinking that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I
Yeah.
never played the original Stalker, and I never really looked that deeply into it to know whether I should be excited or not. But it'll be on Game Pass, so I'll probably give it a
Yep.
go.
Okay, I think there was Forza Motorsports, but there's always a Forza.
Yeah, that's another one of those
Always,
kind of no-brainer things like State of Decay.
yeah.
The
It's
Gunk,
like a.
there was that indie game called The Gunk. I think it was the people that
Oh
made.
yeah, yeah.
I can't remember what the name of their previous game was,
It
but
reminded me
that
of.
looked quite fun.
That reminded me of like a Bionic Commando, but sort of cutesy. She had that sort of robotic arm, didn't she? And I was
Yeah,
just like, oh,
it looked
that's
quite fun. I like the
yeah.
look of it. I'll probably give that a go. Tetris Effect announced. I think it's some kind of updated version of it, but that's new to Xbox. That's on PC and PS4.
Yeah, that's
I,
all. There's always something like that in these events where they show gamers coming together and
mm,
enjoying and experiencing the wonders of gaming.
yeah,
So yeah, they use that game as a way to show how we can reach out and
yeah.
play and
Tetris Effect got really good reviews when it came out, and
yeah.
people say, "Oh, it's an amazing experience." And I bought it on sale, and I played it because I was like, I want to play it like try it on VR, and I played it for 10 minutes, and I was like, I remember now that I'm terrible at Tetris. I think I failed on like the third stage or something. I was just like, no, put that away now. I'm not going to play that. So yeah, I don't know. Don't know if that does much for me, but it's nice that it's there for the people that really like
Uh,
Tetris.
yes, I think that's pretty much every game that's worth talking about. Am I missing anything else?
There was
As Dusk
Warhammer Dark.
Falls,
Oh yeah,
as
there's
Dusk
Dusk
Falls,
Falls. I'm not quite sure what that is.
that had a weird style, didn't it?
Yeah, it looked almost a
Retro.
bit visual novelly.
Yeah, it had that retro, not retro effect. There's a certain where you not ray trace. You sort of trace over someone like a real person. I can't. There's a certain word, but the word escapes me. That sort of technique. Yeah, I mean, I'm not a big fan of visual novels, but it looked interesting. It did look good.
Yeah, it looked nice. The visual style was nice. There was also Warhammer Darktide, which
I'm not a big fan of those types of games. So when I
it's
saw that, I
by
was like, oh yeah, cool.
it's by Fat Shark, who did the Vermintide games. I think Vermintide 2 actually launched into Game Pass like day and date, but they're sort of like 4-player co-op sort of horde mode kind of games. So I think I downloaded it and I just never played it. I think this is another one, but in like the 40k universe. So yeah, I probably won't play that one either, if I'm honest.
Yeah, but I think that's everything apart from
one last thing,
which was Monty Python game. Yeah, no, it was the new Halo game. I think that's going to be a soft reboot or just a reboot.
I'd just like to point out you said the new Halo game there when you meant to say.
Oh, Fable game. Sorry, Jesus. Sorry. Yeah,
It's really confusing.
Yeah,
Yeah, they started the show with Halo Infinite, and then they ended it with Halo Infinite 2.
Sorry, I meant to say Fable. Yeah, new Fable game, which is a soft reboot, hard reboot, reimagining. I don't know.
It's probably it's obviously going to be a reboot of some kind because it's just called Fable. It's not like Fable 4.
I actually heard it's set in the Fable world, but they're doing a sort of not retconning, but they're sort of starting afresh. But what I've heard is like an asteroid hits Albion and wipes out that world, and then it just sort of crazy, huh? And then it takes place after a few decades where the world has recovered. And
so basically they're doing a Final Fantasy 14 with
it. I guess so, yeah. Some people
that's
afraid
exactly what they did with that. Final Fantasy 14 1.0, they dropped an asteroid on the world and then
just restarted.
Reborn came up as a whole new game.
Yeah. I mean, people were afraid this was going to be MMO, but it's been confirmed it's a single player RPG, action RPG.
It'll probably have some multiplayer elements, but then Fable 2 and 3 did anyway, so it'll probably have some kind of like drop in, drop out co-op optionally if you want to do that. But yeah, it's going to be a single player open world RPG.
I want it to be a single player. Did you ever play any Fable games?
Played a few hours of Fable Anniversary. I remember when 2 came out, I went round a mate's house and like him and one of our other friends were there and they were playing Fable 2. It had just come out. And I'd never really paid attention to the first one other than sort of like the whole Molyneux over-promising debacle. Like, you can plant an acorn and then the tree will grow from it. So that was about all I knew of Fable. And I went round a friend's house when 2 came out and he was playing it. And he was just like farting at people and they were all like clapping. And I was like, is this what Fable is? So I never really bothered. But I've played a couple of hours of Fable Anniversary since, and it seems pretty good. I quite like it.
Yeah, I played the original Fable. Well, I didn't play the original of Fable, but I played Fable Lost Chapters on the original hardware. Really, really liked it. Thought it was a really good game. Didn't play that much of Fable 2, but I actually completed Fable 3, which is the one that most people hate. But I really liked Fable 3. I really liked Fable 1 as well. The Lost Chapters was really, really good. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Like it's being developed by is it Playground Games?
Yeah, they've built a whole. They're the people that make Forza Horizon, which all of the Forza Horizon games are amazing. I don't even like racing games, but I like Forza Horizon, and so they know how to make an open world. The worlds in the Forza Horizon games are really good, but they've created a whole second studio to make Fable, and they've been bringing in all kinds of like crazy talent to make it, and people with like RPG experience and everything. So I think this is going to be a big one.
I'm really pleased that they kept the sort of humor.
The tone.
So I was a bit worried that it's gonna be dark and gritty and serious and the depressing and Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like dark fantasy, quote unquote.
The thing, like
Take.
this has been rumored for nearly 2.5 years now. It was announced, not well, yeah, I guess it was kind of announced that they were setting up a new studio to make an open world RPG in late 2017, and then obviously Microsoft acquired them in mid 2018, and then that's when all the rumors started. It's the game is actually Fable. So having it finally announced, the main people were complaining because it was just a CGI trailer again, which
Yeah.
I get the complaints, but the main thing really was like them showing that they actually get the tone. Because like I say, I haven't really played much of the Fable series, but I know about the tone of it, and I've played the opening hours of the first one, so I get what the tone is. It's more like fairy tale storybook, and because like all fairy tales have that darker edge to them, even if they're quite whimsical, like things like all the like grim fairy tales and stuff like that. And I get the feeling that's where Fable kind of sits. A lot of people were thinking, oh no, they're not going to make I love The Witcher 3, but they're not going to make Fable like The Witcher, are they? So the trailer coming out, yeah, okay, they didn't really show anything, but they showed they nailed the tone.
Yeah, which is the
Which is
sort
the
of
important thing, I think.
the British sort of sense of humour, because we do like fighting and people laughing about it and stuff. It's probably going to have a ton of sort of British and Irish sort of voice actors, a lot of famous ones. I can see the guys from IT Crowd trying to get them in. Maybe Simon Pegg.
Pegg and Nick Frost.
Simon Pegg was actually in Fable 3. He voiced
Was
a
it?
character in that. Yeah, he did.
Stephen
So
Fry
I
was
can
in
see
one
it.
of them as well, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was in the third one. He played the butler.
And then I think
No, he didn't play the butler. No, sorry. He was in Fable 2. He played one of the heroes. But John Cleese was the butler in Fable 3.
John Cleese. I remember hearing John
Yeah.
Cleese in it, and then Zoe Wanamaker was in one of them as well.
She was in all. She in all three because she played. Oh, what was her name? She was a very important character. She was more like the narrator, and she played a prominent role in number 2. And she was in 3. I think she was in. Anyway, yeah, she was in all 3 games. So her character, anyway.
I've just remembered, like, because I was saying, like, I went around to friends and he was playing Fable 2. I've just actually remembered that Eurogamer gave that game a 10 out of 10. I just remember thinking, wow, really? So yeah, obviously, like, they're games that kind of passed me by, but I know they were like highly regarded games.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to seeing what Playground do with it, and it being sort of, I mean, surely it's going to be an open world game because kind of that's what's expected essentially nowadays, that an RPG be open world. But also that's kind of, they're very good at building open worlds from like the Horizon games.
I do remember the first one being quite open for the time. When I played it, it's like you can just sort of go off and do your own thing. But yeah, I mean, if you can't have an RPG without it being open world. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I want to see gameplay.
Yeah.
Hopefully, we'll get to see something like that in.
That's another
in the
thing
next
with
few
them
months.
announcing it with the CG trailer and people going, "Oh, more CG." It's like, okay, but now it's official. Like, we've effectively known they've been making it for like at least 2 years, but now it's official. The next time we see it, we'll see more. So now we can just sort of look forward to. Now we know it truly exists. We can look forward to actually seeing it next time.
Seeing it.
And apparently, Microsoft will have another show late August. Apparently, going by
maybe there were.
Rumors,
There's some rumors that they might announce some new studio acquisitions. Because there was rumors of them buying Warner Brothers intellectual property, so they could end up owning Batman.
I don't think they'd own the IP. I think they'd have to license it. I think Warner would probably keep hold of that. But they were looking at, a couple of people, insiders have said they are looking at picking up the studios. But I get the feeling they're keeping an eye on it just to make sure someone like Google or Amazon or Sony don't buy them. And then because like If EA or Ubisoft or Take-Two, which are the other ones apparently meant to be looking into it, if they buy them, I think Microsoft will just sit back and let that happen because those games will still be coming to their platform, so they don't really have to do anything. I think if a competitor went to pick them up, like if Sony wanted to grab them and then make all those games exclusive to the PS5, I think Microsoft would step in. Likewise, if Amazon or Google, because Google have their Stadia thing and Amazon have been like messing around with gaming and not doing very much with it for a while, but if either of those picked up Warner Brothers, they'd immediately become a big publisher in the video game industry. And those really are the two Microsoft want to kind of keep out because they have like all the cloud infrastructure and everything that Microsoft is now trying to get into. So I think if Sony, Amazon or Google try and step in to buy them, then I think Microsoft will step in to seriously try and acquire them. But otherwise, if it's going to be a third-party publisher, I think they'll just let it happen.
We should make a note that all these games are coming out on Game Pass.
Yeah, everything they showed.
Everything they showed.
Day one on Game Pass.
So
which is nuts. Like,
that's crazy.
I think they showed like 22 games or something like that.
And we still got
day one on Game Pass.
We still got more to see from the other studios that didn't reveal anything. So there's quite a lot more to come.
But that's kind of what I was saying earlier. Like Stalker and the Gunk. It was like, I don't really know much about them, but they look okay. And I said I'll probably give them a try. I'll be able to give them a try because they'll be their day one on Game Pass, so I can try them out without having to. Because if I had to buy those games, I would just write them off completely because they don't interest me enough to go and drop like 50 quid on them or whatever they're going to be. But they'll be in Game Pass, so I can try them. It's kind of a crazy deal.
It's a crazy time to be alive. I think this subscription service is probably going to be the way of the future, maybe. It's a really good service.
It is.
I recommend if anyone has an Xbox
or a PC even.
Or PC, I mean,
because it's cheaper
if you
on
get
PC.
older, you can play all of them.
Yeah, which is what I have.
So I have that as well. So yeah, get it. It's really, really worth it.
It's a crazy deal. If you've got a PC and Xbox and you need Xbox Live Gold, Ultimate is a fucking crazy deal because you get Game Pass PC, you get Game Pass console, and you get Xbox Live Gold.
Excellent. But yeah, that was the Xbox July reveal. Overall, there's some really good things in there. I mean, I would have liked to see more gameplay, which I think a lot of people did, and some people were really hoping for Xbox to show like a AAA sort of exclusive, like a big budget one that Sony dish out quite a lot of. You know what I mean? Like a Last of Us, a God of War sort of type game.
I think people are kind of, because up until about 2 weeks ago, insiders and like people in the know were saying that the initiative would be they're showing their game. So I think a lot of people were thinking, all right, Halo Infinite, Fable is going to show their initiative's going to show they're going to be like the three big, like this is why you need a Series X game. And then like Halo Infinite has very much underwhelmed most people. I say it again, I think it looks good, but it needs some polish. Fable didn't show gameplay and the initiative wasn't there, so I think those are the main reasons why people are feeling a bit down on it, because they feel like, oh, they didn't show me any reason why I need a Series X. But for someone like me who already knows I'm going to buy a Series X because I'm already deep in the ecosystem, I need to be there for Halo anyway, so I might as well get the best version of it. I've already got Game Pass signed up until like the end of the year, so it's kind of a no-brainer for me. So for someone who's already like deeply embedded in the ecosystem, I think it was a really good show. They showed a lot of stuff I'm excited about. I would like to see more gameplay, but then I can understand why people would be like, oh, it didn't show me why I need a Series X. Because like a lot of the stuff you can probably just, I mean, PC is always going to be a thing because Microsoft put their games on PC now. So if you just want to play those games on PC, then great, do that. Don't need to go and buy a Series X.
Yeah. So yeah, that was it, Roz. Yeah,
I was quite pleased personally.
Yeah, I was as well, and I can't wait to hear more of what Microsoft are planning.
Yeah.
So I think they got more up their sleeve.
Well, apparently both Sony and Microsoft are supposed to be having another show next month. So
Anyway, yeah. So thanks again for watching and listening to our thoughts of Xbox first party event. And if you've got any opinions or comments, please be respectful and leave them in the comments
yeah,
below.
don't call us shit beasts or something. Just nice, fully formed thoughts. Agree,
Yes,
disagree, that's fine. Like everyone has their own opinions. But
yes.
just let us know what you think in the comments below and start a discussion, not fling shit at each other. And that'd be great.
Well, thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you again for the next event reveal. So yeah, thanks for watching, and please like and subscribe. Bye.